Hello everybody, it is Johnny K here, and today I'm just going to be doing a video about my experience with BMT in 2021, and then I got there November 22nd, and then I was there until January 14th, or no, January 13th when I graduated. So I did a little chart here when I was in basic, and I did kind of a day-to-day recap of what happened, and then also like a week-to-week recap eventually, because after about 4 days of trying to do the daily one, I just couldn't do it anymore because I didn't have time. So I switched to week because it was a lot easier. But pretty much basic sucked, but you make a lot of memories. And in my opinion, and this is all going to be just my opinion and experience, they say that they kind of like, build you up to be a better airman, better person. I really don't really agree that much with that. I think it's more of just for procedure's sake. But let's get into the video and let's talk about what happened in BMT. So the first day, you're gonna get off the plane, you're gonna walk over to or you're pretty much just gonna wander around until you find the lady or the guy that is gonna be doing your taking you, putting you on the bus, and bringing you to the base. So you're gonna stand in like what we did, like 4 columns or something, and she's just gonna start talking to you, and you're gonna have to pretty much just do what she says, and then it'll be easy breezy. So you gotta have your orders, and then she'll come around, look at your orders, she'll tell you to throw out, or it was a girl for me, so I'm just gonna say she'll tell you to throw away anything that might be unauthorized, like food or drink. And yeah, that was pretty much that. She'll let you have a phone call letting your parents know that you have arrived and you're safe and all that. But I would recommend calling them before you get there, just to have a final, like, full conversation. Excuse me, I'm a little clogged up from allergies, but yeah, they'll tell you to call them, and they'll say like you have like 1 minute, so you might want to call them before you get there, just to have like an actual goodbye, and then that can be like, hey, I'm here, I'm safe, goodbye, and then that's that. But then you'll have to sit in line and wait for everybody else to get there. And then once there's enough people, they'll stand you all up, put you on a bus, and send you to the base. And then it's just, I don't know, a lot of people say, oh, the bus ride is really quiet and everybody's contemplating their decision. For me, everyone was just talking and talking and talking. And everyone was like, oh, this is going to be easy breezy. I was like, man, these guys are crazy. But I sat there, and the guy next to me was like, yeah, it's online game. You just got to get through it. Easy peasy. I mean, he wasn't wrong, but that's not the mindset you want to have going in. When you go in, you want to be thinking, all right, you got to be focused. I'm going to do what I can to get through this, because it's going to be rough. It's not going to be hard, but it's going to be rough, if that makes sense. So you'll drive to the PRC, the PRC. You'll go sit in the auditorium PRC thing, and they'll pretty much talk to you about what's going to happen. And for me, it was like trainees that are like in their final week that we're helping, and they were just like telling us like everything. They were being homies. You get your MRE to eat, and they give you 10 minutes to eat it, and you pretty much have 10 minutes to eat your food always from that moment on, which is not fun. And when you get out again, then you'll eat everything really fast and you'll eat a lot, and you don't work out as much. So be careful about gaining those pounds after after BMT. But yeah, you get your MRE, and then they talk to you about what's going to be going down, and then you go and you just sit in your area for a while, and that's when you pretty much get selected or like cut out for your slots on which flight you're going to be in. So I came to BMT on the plane and everything with 2 other guys from my base, and I made the mistake of being in front of them in the line quite a ways, and so I ended up being the flight in front of them, and so I didn't know anybody in the group of people I was with, and the 2 guys I was with were in the flight behind me. So if you do come with people, try and stick real close to them so you can stay in the same flight. But yeah, they put you in a flight, and then you look around and you're like, man, I don't know any of you guys, this is gonna be weird. And then they take you out of the PRC, and they pretty much give you all the gear you're gonna need for BMT, which is like a backpack, and then all of your mandatory items, shower stuff, just, all that kind of stuff. So I was in Alcatraz, and I was in the 324 Squadron, the Knights represent. But yeah, then they send you out onto the outside of the PRC, and they will just say, all right, time to get on the bus and go to your squadron. And like I said, I was Alcatraz 324th, which is like the most rundown old squadron there is. So yeah, we got there, or we started the bus drive over, and we were all like, talking up a storm. I wasn't, because I was scared, but everybody else was just talking and talking, and I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, here we go. It's about to start. And so then, the bus rolls up. We see the MTI walking towards us, and that's when we all went quiet, and we're like, oh crap. And so then he walks up. He's like, you have 30 seconds to get off my bus. And so we all like stand up, and we're all rushing to get off the bus, and he's yelling at us, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And then after that, he like takes us all to where our drill pad is going to be, which is pretty much the area that's like right outside of your dormitory. And so he's like speed walking. He's walking so fast, and you've got all your gear and stuff, and you're like trying to keep up with him, but it's really hard. And he's, hurry up. And then you finally get there. You'll get to the drill pad area, and then he'll kind of like form you up and, yell at you, and he'll tell you to like get on a knee, or the whole pick up your bags, drop your bags. And then it just keeps telling you to do it over and over again until you do it right. And that's kind of a big thing about basic, is you're just gonna do things until you can do it right. So try and learn to do things correctly, and not your way, it's their way. They literally have a Jody it's like, it's my way or the highway, and they sing stuff like that. And yeah, so just do it their way the first time, or the second time if you can't, or otherwise everybody in the flight is going to suffer. So keep that in mind. You'll hear a lot of times, so you want to be an individual. And that is not something you want to hear, because usually it's followed by something that's not fun. But anyways, back to the story. So then you go up and you will, he'll pretty much, keep doing that stuff. You'll learn about the yes sergeant, or your reporting statement is, and how you'll refer to your MTIs. For me, it was, you will refer to me as Staff Sergeant so-and-so. And then you'd practice that a bunch, and then he'd say, all right, we're on drill pad number 2 or 1 or whatever number drill pad you're on. And then he'll say, and then our evac point is point number 12 or 11. I think ours was 11. But yeah, so it'll give you a bunch of this information you need to know, and then I'll tell you what flight you're in. You are flight 093 of the 324th Training Squadron, and you're going to be in dormitory Alpha. And then you'll have to repeat it to him, and then it'll like switch back and forth. What dormitory are we? Bravo. What drill pad are we? 1. What dormitory are we? Alpha. What drill pad are we? 1. And then you'll just go back and forth with that forever. And then eventually he'll have you all line up, and for us they kind of cut the guard guys out, so that's where I went over to the side, and then all the active duty guys would stand over there, and then he told us to get us in alphabetical order. So all the guard guys got in alphabetical order, and then we all went in first, the guard people, and then the active duty went in after us. And so pretty much my entire side of the dormitory was all guard guys, but the dormitories are laid out where there's going to be a dormitory on one side, and then a big wall, and then there's a little hallway, and then there's a second side of the dormitory. And so you're going to have the Alpha and Bravo side. And since I believe that after my flight was the first integrated flight in the Air Force ever, so we had guys and girls, but the girls were across the hall from us in a separate dormitory, but well, not separate dormitory, but it's door, hallway, door, and guy door, girl door. So yeah, they were separate. And we had 2 flights actually in our dormitory. We had 093, which was me, and 094, which was on the opposite bay. So our flight and the 94 flight, we kind of had some major beef throughout the whole thing. Like, we were always trying to one-up each other, and we're all saying like, oh, the other flight's dumb. They don't know what they're doing. They're slow. But eventually we got to be a little bit more tight and stop yelling at each other all the time. And then this is going into more of the basics of how things work, but they have, the 2 flights in your side that are male, and then across the hall it's going to be 2 female flights, and one of them is going to be your flight, and then the other is going to be your like brother or sister flight, but it's both because there are guys and girls in the flight. Yeah, so it's basically just really confusing, and there's really the theory behind it is just, it is going to make you be less of a horn dog when you get to tech school, because you're going to be working with females the entire time instead of you only working with males, and then all of a sudden having females that you can talk to in tech school, which led to a lot of issues. But guys will be guys and girls will be girls, so it is what you make of it. So then they'll pretty much, I'll get into that in a different video. For now, I'll just stick to day 1. yeah, so you'll have all your gear. They have you run upstairs, you're sprinting up the stairway, and our dormitory was at the very top on the right side. And you open the door, you go through, and he's like, all right, pick a bed, pick the first bed you see. And I picked the best bed because there was a MTI office, and then right next to that was my bed. So it was like right in the corner. So if the MTI couldn't look out the door and see me, if he was like, sitting in his office, and also there was no one to the right side or to the left side of me, and also my head was away from the hallway. So that's something that you might want to think about, is if you can, try and get a bed that has your head closer to your locker, because otherwise you're going to be sleeping with your head in the middle of the hallway, and when the ECs, or like the night security people, are walking through the aisles doing their like nighttime checks, they might wake you up if you're a light sleeper, just because your head is so close to the aisle and it's a little uncomfortable sometimes. But I digress. So I picked my bed, best bed. I think I was bed number 24, and then they'll say, all right, put on all your stuff, and then go to your wall locker, point at your wall locker, point at the number on your wall locker specifically, and then go to your bed, point at the number on your bed, and then it'll tell you about your inspection side of the bed, which is the side with the number on it, and then you'll pretty much just go back and forth pointing at the number a bunch. And then it'll have you pour out your backpack, make sure that you have everything pretty much. You'll get your name tag, or not a name tag, but it's just like a reflective piece of Velcro that you write your name on and stick to your backpack. And let's see. And then that's pretty much the first night. For us, a little bonus story, he's yelling at us, telling us to do all this stuff, and then you stand there and he's like, all right, get ready to shower. And so we're all naked, standing at the edge of our beds, at attention, waiting for him to come tell us to do something else. And then he just never came back. And so we were all standing there for like 20 minutes, probably 30 minutes, just naked with our towels and our loofahs. We were standing there and just waiting. And eventually we were like, do we shower now? And so then we went and we finally showered. And then later on we told our sergeant, we were like, did you mean to just leave us there, or were you supposed to tell us to shower? And he just kind of chuckled and he's like, I may or may not have forgotten to tell you to shower, but you should have known that to begin with. Come on, you guys are dumb. Well, they're not allowed to call us dumb, so he didn't say that. But they'll like insinuate it without saying it. So yeah, they can't say a lot of stuff and they can't do a lot of stuff, but it's still miserable. Because, they don't really treat you like people. They treat you like children. And that's what you'll hear that a ton in the military is, we're gonna treat you like children if you can't act like adults. And even if it's not your fault, or you're not the one acting like a child, you're a child if the people around you are children. So keep that in mind too. But yeah, we've showered and then we went to bed. And then the next morning, you start the schedule of just busting stuff out and getting stuff done for BMT until pretty much the last couple of weeks, or the last week I'd say, is when you kind of stop just going from thing to the next thing, But yeah, that's day one of BMT. If you guys want to see, I'll probably make more videos about the rest of BMT, but I'll just start with day one because we're already at 20 minutes here. And yeah, basic training is going to be a lot for you, and it's going to be something that you can literally talk to with your friends afterwards for forever. Like, it's going to stick with you for a long time. Like before I went to basic and I was still at my guard base doing like student flight, even the older guys would be talking about basic with me, and they'd be telling me about what to expect and everything, and they went to basic like 15 years ago, so it really does stick with you. And but yeah, I hope that some of these little tips about day one or the process of getting there will help you survive a little bit better at BMT, or maybe just decide on whether or not you want to go through something like this. Because that is one thing. Another thing is, when you get there and they start yelling at you, you will want to quit. You'll want to quit immediately. And like the first night you lay there in bed and you're just thinking, what did I get myself into? I can't do this. This is absurd. But you just got to keep pushing through and, get some kind of mindset that'll help you get through the rest of it. Like meal to meal. I always joked, because I was the bed aligner, I'd always joke, bed alignment to bed alignment. But yeah, find something that keeps you going. I'm getting paid to do this. I'm getting paid to sleep, eat, work out. Yeah, just find something, and it'll make it a whole lot easier. But in general, when you look back on it, it flies by. The days go by so fast, and the weeks go by even faster sometimes. So before you know it, it'll be over, and then you'll look back on it and be like, wow, that was like a tiny part of my life, and I get to start the rest of my life now that I'm done with it. And the military after basic has a lot of opportunities and can be a lot of fun. Tech school sucks though, so don't pick a job that has a long tech school unless you're prepared for that. I wasn't, but here I am for 7 months. Yeah, but that's pretty much day one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said earlier, hope you got something out of it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.